No.
Okay.
Sorry. We're on. We'll have to cut this part. Not so seriously, though, but in all seriousness. Content pillars, right? So we're deciding to do this 10-minute window because we were waiting for somebody to do the podcast with us, but unfortunately they're running a little bit late. So we're going to throw in this 10-minute segment just to explain to everybody why we're going to do a 10-minute segment. But that's also that we can talk about Jake and Alex and address where Jake and Alex might be at that point in time in their life, but also because we're diversifying our content pillars so that we're not so unidimensional, just doing 30-minute interviews with amazing, fascinating people.
I think that you have to experiment as well, right? Like, there's no fixed format. Like, you have to, these big like I guess you say podcaster, influencer, like they don't have like a set structure format, right? Think about Rogan.
Well,
It just sort
things
of meanders,
diversify.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, people. Joe Rogan doing the clips thing was one of the first people to do it, but Joe Rogan was also one of the first people that people would probably take his podcast and break it down into chunks.
He's 3 times as big as the next biggest pod, so they say.
Joe Rogan is a one-man media machine.
Did you see the Dana White thing? He was on Lex Friedman, and he was saying that Joe Rogan... I know what you're going to say, but just let me finish. He said that Joe Rogan did the UFC for free in the beginning. He loved UFC so much, he just wanted to talk about it and commentate, and he did it for free.
I believe
could be
that.
Bullshit, but yeah, I think so. And it came across like in the commentating, right? Like, it's not fake.
Yeah, I mean, he probably wasn't short of a bob or two at that point though, because he was doing Fear Factor.
Dude, Fear Factor, and he did the stand up as well, right? He would just made some money doing that.
I think Joe Rogan is an incredibly intelligent person. He's managed to straddle to be like a domain expert in fighting, in podcasting. You also know what his other hobbies are because he talks about them all the time, such as his martial arts as well.
Do you think like he dumbs himself down a bit though for like people, like to fit like a bigger audience?
No, I think Joe Rogan is a truthful and honest man, and he speaks in simple terms but has a complex understanding of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
so that's a skill, basically, simplifying things and
No, I think that is just who he is. It's not like a skill. I mean, obviously there's skills that will have improved over time as he's got used to interviewing people and developed and honed them as learned skill sets. But underneath it all, he's just a natural, isn't he?
Yeah. Where were we talking? Yeah, content pillars. So like, yeah, I actually think you need to define them, but you also have to let them happen organically.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna ask to move on to the segment of what's Alex doing these days.
What is he doing these days? Just working, mate. Working out. Went to the gym before we came on. I did a run yesterday, 5K.
Yeah.
Breathe out my arse the whole way.
Yeah.
That's it. Pretty simple.
What do you do Monday to Friday? Between 9 and 5.
Just sending emails, mate. Sending emails. Just fucking putting shit in my calendar.
Yeah.
Not much else. Say? Do you know what though? I do think like Teams, like Microsoft Teams, I use that every day, and these apps are just like they're making work out of work. It's like you're not really doing real work. You're just replying to people and then looping in people, and it's like, what the fuck's the point in this?
Those messaging apps are truly revolutionary if they're used in the right way. And when I used to work at the Innovation Enterprise, the first company that I used to work at, I remember that people used to check the analytics of Slack often to see who was sending the most messages.
Who's they? Do you mean like HR or the big boss?
Everybody had access to the analytics, so everybody
even
could
you
check.
even what?
Yeah, everybody. Like, it was sort of like, look, that's the great thing about real transparency in a company rather than centralized control. And that's the difference in some context between a great startup and an authoritarian corporate structure.
Okay. Go on.
So everybody had the analytics that a corporate structure might have put into the HR department. This company didn't really have a HR department, though. It had founders.
I think that's good. I think HR should be administrative, like doing the necessary, and the hiring stuff should be the bosses.
Well, it depends how you want to scale the organization.
But what I'm saying is, like, this messaging stuff, like, everything worked before, right? Like, we functioned before these messages at work. Email worked, meetings in person worked. Like, I just feel it's gone too far. If you don't reply within like 10 minutes, people get pissed off. Before, you'd send an email, and like, you would get back to them like the same day or a day later. Tops.
Maybe. I think it's how you utilize that tool within the organization. Having the transparency, the point, pardon if I didn't get to the point, but the point was that because there was a transparency, people monitored themselves to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
So people use Slack less. And we also were encouraged to communicate certain things via email, such as important points and meeting notes. So it wasn't all in one place. So it was manageable. There was a systematic way of utilizing Slack and email as communication tools within the organization. And obviously, it might not have been there on paper, but when you're onboarding into this startup, your manager might make you very aware of that fact that you shouldn't be sending too many messages on Slack, and there might be different ways to use different communication tools to organize workflows.
Yeah, so what you're saying is basically culture trumps the tools. Like, if the culture is right, then it doesn't matter about the tools in some way.
See, here's the problem. Okay, I've just said that in a load of technical gobbledygook that no one is going to understand, and that's why I'm not Joe Rogan.
Yes. What about you? Like, what's the work situation right now?
Everything's blowing up. Can hardly find time to get food and water. But
you need
great.
to eat. You need to eat and drink, otherwise you're gonna croak.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do after we've taken this podcast. Yeah. Very busy launching a new software, launching a product, productizing social media agency.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How do you prioritize stuff?
That's a tough question.
Tough question.
I just kind of know what needs to be done.
Do you use any tools, like any apps or stuff?
Yeah. No, I have a pen and paper, and I write numbers as a priority.
Like literally a book, and you write stuff.
Yeah, literally a book, and I prioritize things. And sometimes what I also do, if I've found that my motivation is particularly low, is I put time frames next to how long those tasks should take, and I force myself to reach the end of that task within a time frame.
What's a typical time frame? Is it like 2 weeks or a month or like?
No, like 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, like I.
Jesus, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, it depends how big you make the task, right? So you have the macro task, and then to get to the end goal of the macro task, you've got a series of mini tasks in between. So you kind of build the pathway out on the list. But the list sometimes, it gets a bit hard because sometimes you don't, sorry, talking away from the microphone, it gets a little bit hard because sometimes you have a list of things which take longer because they might rely on other people, or they're relatively big tasks that might go on longer than you thought. Okay, so there might be things that you haven't discovered how to do. So that way you don't know how much time it would take. For example, if I'm copywriting an entire website, and I've copyrighted it and it's massive, and then I go, hang on a second, I need to rewrite it. It's like, well, how long should that take? That's not going to take you an hour. That's going to take you a day, maybe 2, maybe 3. You might want to chunk it. So I might do an hour, and then the next day it might reappear on my list. Can't rush.
Yeah. I think there's like we both used Asana right before in the company, or a similar tool.
Did you?
Yeah, OnePlus, we used it, and it's just like, it does feel like you're micromanaging shit, you know. It'd just be like little like things, like files, even just like files, passing files along the line. It's like, Jesus, like we're micromanaging this, like, it's mental.
Again, I think it depends how you use it. You can utilize those tools in different ways, right? It's not defined how those tools should be used. There's no like set structure.
Yeah, the guy Jason Fried, the 37 Signals guy, I saw a podcast with him recently, and he said basically they don't do any like goals, or they just like have like 4-week sprints, work on something, and then work on something else, and there's no set timeline. They just build it whatever they want.
Yeah, but they're so professional that they'll have like they'll have a way of working which is like a schema, a roadmap that 24 weeks out, this needs to be done by this week, this needs to be done by this week, and this is, so it's a bit different, especially if it's like your first time around the block. You don't know how long things might take.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm not that, because for me at least, I'm launching a type of business that I've never done before, so it's kind of like unraveling itself.
What stuff you like? What's inspired you recently, online or like in person? We were talking offline about this guy. You were talking about this earlier a bit. Like, is there anything that's blown you away or caught your attention?
Alex, God, you hit me with some deep questions.
This is deep. We're going deep here. It's Friday night.
Yeah, impressed me. I mean, I'll have to say the first thing that comes to my mind, which was the British Chamber of Commerce event that I went to last night. I thought that was pretty cool.
Because we're still like doing stuff like as a country, or like is this like individual business people, or?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce's, I think they'll act as like private businesses, right? Mm-hmm. But obviously, businesses and business owners buy memberships to these places, which fund a series of activities across the year, which enable businesses to meet and do trade with each other. That's why they're established.
Yeah.
Spilling the secrets of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. And you're just impressed by the fact that people are trying stuff, or?
No, there's a great caliber of people there. It was well organized. It was great. I had a good time.
I went to a crypto event. I told you on this week. I think these people they're trying stuff. It's good to see, but like they're not good at communicating. Like they can't translate their jargon into like, to the layman. It's very difficult to understand.
You mean like I just did like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think they could do more on communication. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think there's an educational barrier, right? Because these terminologies are new, and these people use them in like a native way when
That
speaking
guy,
with people.
yeah, that SBF guy, he got arrested. Well, fucking put in jail today, 25 years. He did that well. To be fair, he did that well. He convinced a lot of people, like millions of people, to buy stuff on his platform. And he was a geek, right? He was a math guy, but he talked in fairly normal kind of way, relatable. The way he dressed, the way he talked. Give the guy credit for that.
I mean, who knows? Because it'll be the last we hear of him. I can't imagine that they'll send him to somewhere with iron bars. It'll be somewhere that's
No.
like a home arrest, surely.
Yeah.
They're
He'll
not
be
going
out
to put him in
50.
like they're not going to put him in like the county jail.
Yeah. But no, I think he out of all the crypto guys, he was the one that broke out, right? Because he was like random guy, like normal, It wasn't like a nerd. Uh,
We don't know. I don't know too much about him. I don't know who he's
no,
connected to.
no,
So they made an example of him.
they did.
So
What's
what
happening in the
about?
crypto stuff right now? Like, is there anything else going on, or?
Well, it's all a big. I have my theories on cryptocurrency that there's going to be a massive generational wealth transfer back to people like millennials through cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because they're
Yeah,
investing,
because
or because
no, because when it went to 70,000, everyone was talking about it. Then it dipped and everybody stopped talking about it. And now it's approaching back up to 70K. No one's talking about it. So then when it gets to 80K, people will start talking about it and so people start selling off again.
have you ever thought about doing something crypto, like doing a company or like working somewhere, or is it just like you? Do you want to separate the passion from the work? Is that the approach?
Hey, if something came my way, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, because there's that school of thought, right? I was reading an article today about that, and the guy was like, "Never follow your dreams. Like, don't be an athlete. Don't be a musician. Like, no one's going to achieve that. Separate your hobby from separate your work from your passion, because that way you won't like fuck up your passion. You'll have both. It's a good argument.
Okay, well, I'm quite passionate about crypto, but it's more a case of I'm too busy with other things to dive into a new niche. So that's why I'm not doing the crypto, but it gets me thinking. I wouldn't rule it out. And,
Hmm.
I've been past a few name cards recently, and you've just reminded me that I need to catch up with some people.
Yeah, because the other thing as well is like, um, you need passion to do something, like put your heart into something, but at the same time, if you're not passionate about a business you're working on, at least you have like cold blood. You can make hard decisions
Yeah,
easier.
100%.
Like
But
you see a lot of guys like they do one business and they make a lot of money, and then they have like a plaything, right? They have like a football team, or like um, a
yeah, but
yacht or
that's when they're
something,
mega
like.
rich and they can afford these things. Like if you're into cars, you'll buy a
Yeah, but
Ferrari.
even at lower level, like if you have like a mid-sized business or whatever, if you're making money, you just keep the two separate, right? You keep your boring ass business on one side, and your passions pump your money into your passions.
Yeah, but
Could be
a
the
lot
way.
of people start things with their passions. Like, yeah, we've got a YouTuber on the podcast very soon, and his passion was reviewing tech, and he's turned that into a business. And actually, he's diversified. I checked his videos, and
Yeah,
he's doing cars, he's doing washing
yeah.
machines. doing a lot of different stuff. So it might have started with his passion, but then diversified. So arguably, it goes the other way also.
Yeah. And then I guess the question is, like, in life, uh, how do you keep the passion alive? Like, how do you keep going? Like, we talk about this a lot lately, like the drive to keep going. Like, get up every day, have a shower, like, do your stuff, like, work out. Like, how do you keep the fire? Like, we know a lot of people that have been in business for a long time, and they seem to be still passionate about it. They seem to be like, you know, into it.
Yeah,
Or do you think
yeah.
people just burn out eventually?
Oh, maybe the filter is that you have to be passionate about it to survive, and if they're still passionate about it, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
You
We've
know
got we've got
what
a
mo-
mate we've got a mate who works in one job, and then his passion's music, right? And he does that on the side. Like, should he be like all in on music, or should he be like, keep it as a hobby and then like do the day job?
Well, that mutual friend of ours that you've just referred to or alluded to, I encourage to kind of make their passion their job, because I think it's easier to get invested into it, especially if you're in a career.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or is the middle ground he goes to Spotify, and then he can combine, you know, those two.
I think that marketing and an organizer, we always talk about business culture in nearly every single episode, and we're not talking about it right now, but it depends what type of business you want to work for. You sometimes meet people working for businesses you've never heard of that have an awesome culture and everybody's making lots of cash.
There's a classic example here. There's a girl I know. She works for a company called Music Styling, all one word, Music Styling. I had no
Mm.
idea how big a business this was, and they're literally the biggest hotel lobby music provider. So she goes to hotels, like 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels all over Asia, and she goes to the hotel and then she checks out the environment, and she goes to their engineers. I think it's a British company, and then they sample like the environment and they make tracks for the hotel, and it's like a massive business.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so random. So anytime you walk in the hotel, it's probably their music. It kind of
Actually,
sets the vibe.
I'll plug Gabby Morse. I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what Gabby Morse on LinkedIn does as well. And amazing. I think there's a whole series of segments within that as an industry as well. Some people might do high-end hotels, some people might do boutique hotels, etc., etc.
Yeah, and the smell as well. Like when you go into like casinos and stuff, the smell.
Westin, the
Shopping.
Westin in America, in
Yeah,
Philadelphia. I'll never forget that smell.
yeah.
I love smell.
Fair play. Like love kind of random opportunities out there.
Uh, there is. I mean, the market changes though.
Yeah.
I keep thinking as well with all the AI technology, it's like we have to be able to be in with the AI, or we have to do something that the AI does not do, such as, I mean, it effectively could curate music. I guess somebody could plug an algorithm in that might do a person's job, but the people at music styling, they should start thinking about that, and then
Hmm.
they would be able to stay in the game.
Did you see that one this week? It launched. I think it's called Hume, Hume, and it's like AI. You talk to it, and it gives you speech back, and it's empathetic. So like talks in like a nice tone, and it's apparently the most humane like AI.
Great PR.
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool. The videos are quite cool, and um, it's coming fast. Like that sort of stuff's coming on fast.
It
To be
appeals
fair,
to certain segments.
yeah.
But I wouldn't really. I wouldn't select an AI because it was empathetic in the way in which it talked, right? So
But that
maybe
it
that's a
does
segment.
it does say though, like there's going to be a lot of um a lot of takes on the AI, like a lot of like different providers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Because we use
Yeah.
ChatGPT, like it's by default right now, but long term there'll be thousands probably, right?
Actually, I met a guy who's got this company that what they do, what he wants sponsorship to do. So he was looking for investors. Flipping cool guy, to be honest with you. And he has basically built this AI for that you can then program his AI for different niches. So what he does is he creates specialized AIs. So he has this like general format AI,
Right.
and then people from different industries can help train different AIs that are specialized in niches. It's a cool idea. Sorry, I've
So
told the world about
he's an
this guy's
engineer.
idea.
He's an engineer, yeah. Or
He's a data scientist and data engineer or something of that ilk. Yeah, I'm sorry, world. Nobody steal this guy's idea. I don't even know his name, but he was looking for investment and he lives in Bangkok.
How would he sell it? What's his go to market? Like, would he have like is he like?
I think that's what he wanted money for, to basically buy in people to do marketing. See, I missed a business opportunity there.
Yes,
but he hadn't got the money, but he had the platform.
but that's the thing with AI, though, right? Training is expensive. Training these models.
That's also what he wanted investment for. Yeah.
Apparently, ChatGPT spends like 100 million train the model.
Oh, I'm sure, and they've got to have people that are constantly checking it. It's not like you build it and let it go and it grows up on its own. It will do in the future. Maybe AI is a bit like a human. Like, it takes a certain level of development, and then before you know it, you've reached a singularity.
Apart from ChatGPT, what other AI stuff are you using right now? Zapier, right?
Oh, that's more of an automation tool. Oh. I'm actually plugging this right now. I'm doing a webinar next week, and
we'll put a link
on
in
this
the description.
webinar.
Yeah.
On this webinar, I'll be teaching people how to use no-code automation tools. I'll give away a simple JSON file for some very simple automations, just to show you the basics so that people can understand how these tools work and how they could be useful for their businesses.
Yes, I'm playing with Midjourney quite a lot right now. Just
really?
playing with it.
How's that going?
It's quite frustrating. It's I don't know, it's just very clunky and slow, and prompting. Prompting. If you can't prompt, then you're not going to get what you want. But the quality is very good.
Well, there's different types of prompting, right? Like, there's positive prompting, negative prompting. We'll cover some of these topics on the webinar next Friday. Oh, it's Thursday.
It's mental. Like, they have 50 people, and I saw they're doing like $200 million of revenue. So people like me sign up, pay $50 a year.
What, GPT?
No, Midjourney.
Oh, okay. I mean, I have used Midjourney in the past, and maybe it's my prompting ability, but it was difficult to get something useful out of it.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I used Gemini to generate a few images, and it worked really well. I even put one of the images in a proposal because I thought it looked so unique.
Yeah. If you're a graphic designer, are you shitting yourself when you see this stuff?
No, but no. We're copywriters shitting themselves.
Yes.
I
think anyone in writing, journalists, PR people, they must be shitting themselves.
Well, that's a final topic to end on, really, because you posted on LinkedIn the other day.
I did my first ever LinkedIn post. I popped my LinkedIn cherry.
Yeah, but what was it about?
It was just like ruminating on where we are right now with PR and AI.
Specifically say? Yeah.
Specifically said that things have changed, and if you're not using these tools, Whether you're a founder guy like CEO or low level employee, then you're going to be fucked basically at the end of the day because you're gonna fall behind.
We're gonna have to bleep that on the podcast now.
Well, it is after dark, but no, it was good. I got a nice little pop in terms of the views, so I might do some more.
Yeah, you should. Well, it's funny. This is what we were coming back to, actually. Segue back to a conversation that we were having before the podcast that the viewership is not aware of. But, um, it's about people have different tactics to scale social media. And one of the most recent tactics I'm trying out, and it's effectively just to post every day and test what works, because you'll be able to see posting 1-2 reels a day sometimes which kind of content is popping off and which isn't. Some might
But
just
that's
randomly get that.
yeah, but that's not so. That's across all net platforms, right? Like everything.
No, that's particularly on reels on Instagram.
Because we have a mutual contact who posts every day on LinkedIn. We've been talking about this lately, and like it does seem absurd, like posting every single day on LinkedIn. But I don't know.
Well, this particular person has a certain persona that appeals to a certain segment, and that segment are a heavy user of LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And there's different segments and there's different personas out there. So it's really about finding a niche. But if you can find topics that pop with your niche,
right.
then you'll get more reach and coverage. And then your reach and coverage will expand, and people that are living
Right.
on the other side of the planet will start liking your stuff.
That's right. It's all about bangers, right? If you get one banger, then it elevates you to like another level with the algo.
Yeah, it does. A lot of people are talking about these days something like 80% of content that's created on the internet is created by AI.
Yeah. Even
And that
bangers,
seems like,
even like bangers, like
well, I'm talking about, you were transparent with your LinkedIn post and you said
yeah.
that this has been co-piloted
I did
by,
I did the post is edited, but the prompting gave me the gist.
yeah, yeah.
So what you're saying is like even like using Midjourney for like reels or posts in the future, like it doesn't matter about the AI. It's just about whether the concept is um, a banger.
Honestly, the whole AI topic is getting very real. It's getting very scary. Like, the way that this could, if it's democratized, I mean, it's not. Okay, right now, corporate or overlords and billionaire investors and banks will have first dibs on understanding what AI can actually do.
Do you think
We
we'll turn off like social media in the future if we know it's all AI? Would you even check it if you knew it's all AI? Like if it's not your real friends or your real business contacts, like would you even bother like looking at it or
Who knows where it could go?
yeah?
Who knows? We just don't know. What if we all end up living inside the next Apple VR headset,
Mm.
and everybody that is in this virtual reality that we come into communication with is potentially an AI, and that virtual world might create loads of different AIs to meet our needs and to develop us as people as we go through our lives in 2080. We have no idea where this could go.
Yeah, on that scary note,
Well, the people that get to determine it are the people that have the lowdown on where we are with AI.
yeah, but again, you're going back to like we talked about this before as well. Like you got to play the game or you don't play the game. Uh, I think that's the issue we face, right? Like if you don't
Yeah,
play the
definitely.
game, then what are you gonna do? Like you can't sell to people anymore. You know?
Well, it's more like this, right? It's like if you get in the game, then you're the manager of AI.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being managed by AI. But if you
Right.
don't get in the game, then AI will manage you.
Yeah. That's scary. You know, it's like a chicken farm, you know? You're either the boss of the farm or you're a chicken and you're just like laying eggs.
Yeah, I think who knows? It's kind of scary, right? If AI gets completely democratized across everybody at the same level and same rate on Earth, and it really will become the Hunger Games of who can utilize the AI to outcompete everybody. And that won't be prompting AI, it'll probably be like talking with the AI and coming up with more creative
Yeah.
ideas than everybody else to get ahead.
Yeah.
It'll be a game of Fortnite.
Mm. Yeah. So that's basically the future of marketing then. It's that all of that in a nutshell.
Yeah, who knows? The future of the human race. And on that note,